What's up, Chargers Nation? Man, I wish I was coming on here with better news, but after another brutal playoff exit, the Bolts just made a huge decision that's going to shape Justin Herbert's future. The Chargers just announced an unexpected departure. And honestly, this move has been a long time coming. We're going to break down why this happened, what really went wrong with this offense, how much of this falls on injuries versus coaching, and most importantly, what this means for Justin Herbert and the future of the Chargers offense. But before we get into it, smash that like button if you're a real Bolts fan, subscribe to Chargers Nation, because we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps make this channel grow. Alright, let's talk about it. What happened? The breaking news. According to NFL Network insiders Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garafolo, the Chargers have fired Greg Roman after the latest playoff loss. Not only that, offensive line coach Mike Devlin is also gone. The team later confirmed it themselves. Greg Roman spent 2 seasons as the Chargers' offensive coordinator after joining Jim Harbaugh in 2024, their second run together after San Francisco from 2011 to 2014. And Chargers fans, the numbers tell the story. The numbers don't lie. Over the last 2 playoff games, the Chargers scored 1 offensive touchdown. Let that sink in. 1. This season, the Chargers offense ranked 12th in total yards, but only 20th in points scored, and that right there is the red flag. Because moving the ball doesn't matter if you can't finish drives, especially in January. In the playoffs, Justin Herbert is now 0-3. The offense has looked tight, predictable, and lifeless. And opposing defenses have known exactly what's coming. That's not a talent issue, that's a scheme issue. The playoff failures that sealed it. Let's start with last season, 2024 wildcard versus Texans. The Chargers get blown out 32-12 by Houston. Their only touchdown? An 86-yard Herbert to Ladd McConkey bomb in the 4th quarter, when they were already down 23-6. No sustained drives, no rhythm, just desperation football. This year versus Patriots, 16-3 loss. This one might have been even worse. Early interception. Chargers get the ball at the Patriots' 10-yard line. And what happens? 3 straight runs, 1 incomplete pass, 0 points. From that moment on, the offense completely collapsed. 1 for 10 on 3rd down, 2 out of 7 total yards. Second fewest yards in a playoff game in franchise history. That's unacceptable. Period. Yes, injuries matter. But they're not the excuse now, to be fair. Greg Roman dealt with a ton of injuries. Rashawn Slater missed the entire season. Joe Alt, the other starting tackle, also went down. Running back Najee Harris was lost for the year. Rookie first-rounder Omarion Hampton played only 9 games. The offensive line was shuffled basically every week. Even Justin Herbert played through a broken non-throwing hand. So yes, injuries hurt. But here's the problem. The real issue. The offense never adjusted. This is where the criticism of Greg Roman becomes impossible to ignore. We saw this in Baltimore. We saw it again in LA. Predictable play calling, heavy runs into stacked boxes, very little creativity, wide receivers rarely schemed open, minimal pre-snap motion. No rhythm passing game, defenses weren't confused. They were comfortable, and when things went wrong, there was no adjustment. That's coaching. What this means for Justin Herbert. Here's the most concerning part, Chargers Nation. The next offensive coordinator will be Justin Herbert's 5th OC in his NFL career. 5th. That lack of continuity is brutal for a franchise quarterback. And despite everything, Herbert continues to put his body on the line for this team. This next hire is massive. The Chargers cannot afford to miss again. They need a modern passing scheme. Someone who builds the offense around Herbert. Creativity, tempo, spacing, red zone efficiency, and the ability to adjust when Plan A fails, because wasting Herbert's prime would be a crime. Final thoughts. Was this the right move, in my opinion? Yes. Painful, but necessary. Jim Harbaugh even admitted after the loss, "Right now, I don't have the answers." Now, he has to find them. Greg Roman is a respected coach, but this offense had hit its ceiling. and the playoffs exposed it in the worst way. The Chargers didn't just lose games, they lost identity. Now I want to hear from you, Chargers Nation. Was firing Greg Roman the right move? Who do you want as the next offensive coordinator? And how concerned are you about Herbert being 0-3 in the playoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this offseason might be the most important one for Justin Herbert's career so far. Not because of contracts, not because of talent, but because the Chargers finally have to answer one big question. What is the identity of this offense? Because what we watched in 2025, that was not sustainable football. And today, I want to talk about a name that might not be flashy yet, but could be the perfect offensive coordinator for Justin Herbert and the future of this team. Before we dive in, though, smash that like button. It helps the channel a ton. Subscribe if you're new, and let's help Chargers Nation hit our goal of 3,000 subscribers. All right, let's talk ball. What went wrong with the Chargers offense? Let's start with the obvious. The Chargers made the playoffs. That matters. But for the second year in a row, the offense looked completely lost in the wild card round. And that's why the team decided to move on from Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh's longtime friend. Now listen, injuries were real. The offensive line was absolutely decimated. Different combinations almost every week. No continuity, no rhythm. But here's the issue. Good offenses help the quarterback. Great coordinators scheme easy yards. And the Chargers offense did neither. There were very few quick throws, almost no consistent check-down game. No rhythm passes to get Herbert comfortable early. Everything felt hard. Every drive felt like a fight. And more often than not, the plan was, Justin, go be Superman. Justin Herbert deserved better, and Herbert still made it work. Despite injuries, despite protection issues, despite a predictable offense, he once again showed why he's a top-tier quarterback. The Chargers didn't win because the offense was creative. They won because the defense played championship-level football, and Herbert consistently made something out of nothing. That's not how elite offenses are built. You look at teams like the Rams, 49ers, Dolphins, they create easy answers for their QB. The Chargers didn't have that. Which brings us to identity. What was the offensive identity? Honestly, did we have one? Week to week, it felt like, let's just attack the opponent's weakness instead of saying, this is who we are, stop us. There was no clear philosophy, no staple concepts, no offensive backbone. And that's why finding the right offensive coordinator is everything right now. Enter Jake Peetz. One name that really stands out? Jake Peetz. Right now, he's the passing game coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. Before that, he was an offensive assistant with the Los Angeles Rams from 2022 to 2023. And that matters, because Peetz comes from the Sean McVay system, the Shanahan coaching tree, quarterback-friendly, motion-heavy, spacing-based football, proven run game plus pass game balance. Let's not forget something important. In 2019, Peetz was the running backs coach for the Carolina Panthers. That was the year Christian McCaffrey went nuclear. Led the NFL in yards from scrimmage, nearly 2,400 total yards, over 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving yards. That doesn't happen by accident. That's creative usage. That's understanding how to stress defenses horizontally and vertically. Now imagine that creativity with Omarion Hampton Kamani Vidal. Instead of predictable runs up the middle, we're talking about angle routes, motion out of the backfield, mismatches against linebackers. That's modern football. Why Peetz fits Justin Herbert perfectly. This is the key part. Jake Peetz has worked in QB-friendly systems, timing-based passing attacks, play-action concepts that actually fool defenses. Herbert thrives when he gets quick reads. Defined progression space to attack vertically after setting the defense up. That's exactly what McVay-style offenses are built for. You're not limiting Herbert. You're unlocking him. The Harbaugh connection matters, and don't overlook this. Peetz is currently on Mike Macdonald's staff in Seattle. Macdonald was Michigan's defensive coordinator in 2021. Jim Harbaugh's son, Jay Harbaugh, is also on the Seahawks staff. The Harbaughs value relationships. They trust people they know. That connection could matter more than people realize. Big decision ahead. Chargers Nation. This decision is massive. Do you go old school conservative play not to lose football? Or do you go young creative quarterback first offense? A guy like Jake Peetz represents growth identity and finally building an offense around Justin Herbert, not holding him back. Now I want to hear from you. Would Jake Peetz be a good fit for the Chargers, or do you want a bigger name coordinator? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe to Chargers Nation, and let's hit that 3K subscriber goal together. This is Victor, and as always, bolt up.